Welcome to Sunday Junk Journal Snacks. I'm going to continue to work in this brick of a journal from lovely Nadia. As always, you can find her Instagram linked below, as well as all the playlists of my pages that I've been working on in this bulky journal. I think we all know situations where we are in a place where we don't want to be, whether that's physical or emotional or maybe both. And I think those are times where we need to acknowledge that we are not feeling the best we could feel. And we know we're going to get through it, but we need to be kind to ourselves in those moments. So this is one of those days, and I will tell you about that in a moment. I'm just trying to find a page to work on. How about this one right here? I'm just going to take this box for saran wrap and put it underneath the spine so that it's easier to work in this bulky journal, because this way this actually lays flat, which is a miracle for this journal. So when I'm not feeling my best, I like to do some self-care. And besides all the things that we can do in our daily lives, like, pamper ourselves with some good food or watch a good movie or take a walk, which I've done this morning, and just kind of take things slower than we usually would. When it comes to working in my journal, I know that on those days, it's really soothing for my soul to do things I'm comfortable with. This is not a time for me to experiment and to explore new things, but just to do things I kind of know should work, fingers crossed, and that don't take a lot of effort. I just need them to be soothing, and I want to have a pleasing result at the end to look at. I have these beautiful receipts. They are in Arabic. I have just come back from a vacation where I met my hubby in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh to be exact. And these are 2 receipts that I saved. And I also wanted to make these available as a freebie for you, so you can find these linked below for you to print off and use in your own journals. I get to use the originals, and I'm going to use these as a background to just kind of start off the page. I'm just going to use a glue stick. I just want this to be super low key. Maybe you're wondering, like, oh, you just had a beautiful vacation with your hubby. Why are you not in a good space? I think most of us can relate to the feeling of coming back from a beautiful vacation, whether, it's at the ocean, like it was in my case, or in the mountains, or wherever you like to go. And then you come back to your everyday life and you have to adjust to that. So that's one part of it. But the bigger part of it for me is that the past 1.5 years, my hubby has been more in Egypt than he's been here in Austria with me. So my husband is Egyptian, and before Corona started, we spent most of the year here in Austria together, living together like a normal couple. And then he had some business in Egypt, and that business has turned out to be very difficult, and he's run into a lot of problems. So since about 1.5 years, he's been more in Egypt than he's been in Vienna, which of course is very tough on a relationship. So I have not seen him a lot. So these rare occasions where I get to see him are very special to me, of course. Hopefully to him as well. And I actually tried to explain to Louisa today how I'm feeling at the moment. So I came back last night, and the best way I could describe of how I'm feeling is everything was good. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Everything was fine in my life. And then it's like somebody attached a third arm for you. I know this is weird, but just go with me. So you have this arm and you're like, oh wow, how cool is it to have a third arm? Like you were fine with 2 arms. You could do everything you needed to do. You didn't miss anything. But then you realized how cool it was to have this third arm. Like everything was easier, everything was more fun. So you enjoyed that feeling for 7 days. And then after 7 days, someone comes and just yanks that arm off you again. And you're back to having 2 arms. And you're like, oh no, where's my third arm? Like, I know I can handle 2 arms, but now I want my third arm back. You know what I mean? That's how I feel at the moment. So I'm trying to adjust to having just 2 arms again, which is normal for me. And hopefully sooner rather than sooner rather than later, I'll be back to having 3 arms permanently. Won't that be cool? Next, I'm going to add a thin layer of white gesso on top to mute this down a little bit. But of course, I still want to see that writing in the background. I'm going to just sprayer this. See what happens. Yep, that's perfect. I also don't want to produce anything extra, so I want to use some pieces that I already have. And I'm going to look in this ephemera book that I made quite a while ago. I have a video of how I constructed this little ephemera book linked below for you. And these birds are falling out. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's a sign that I should use one of these birds in my collage. I don't use this ephemera book a lot. I did at the beginning, but somehow, I don't know why, I don't tend to go back in here to find stuff for some reason. Yeah, I think I will stick to the birds. How about this guy? He has this beautiful orange on his chest. I like that. Maybe we should turn this. Yes, I think I like that better this way. So what else can we do to the background? I have this Tim Holtz stencil here. This is the one with the letters, numbers, and this, what do you call this? Harlequin design. Trying to read the number. Very hard to read. Wow, there's no way to read that. Okay, I will do my best to figure out the number and link that for you below this video. So I want to use the, or do I? I was thinking of using the numbers and letters, but maybe this would be better. Yep, I think I'll use this part here. And I'm going to spray through that with my fossilized amber distressed oxide spray. This is such a gorgeous color. I did just shake this up a bit. I'm going to be very gentle with this, concentrating. Well, let's see again, where do we want to put him? Yeah, maybe I'll go somewhat like that. And I'll add the sprayed part to this page. Oh wow, that came out super cool. Another souvenir I took from our vacation is this here. These are pieces of, I don't know, I'm going to call this seagrass. I don't know if that's what it is, but these were these little pieces that were swimming in the ocean there, and they have all these fun little salt particles on them, which is really cool. So I just took a bunch of these and put them in a napkin and put that napkin in the book I was reading. And so they're kind of pressed a little bit. And I'm thinking maybe I can try to make a kind of a nest with these for this bird. But I think first I want to cut off the branch he's sitting on, because that is not going to work otherwise. So we both wanted a very relaxing vacation. Thankfully, it would have been horrible if one of us really wanted action all the time and the other one just wanted to relax. Yeah, so thankfully we had the same thought. We both needed just some quality time with each other and not a lot of fuss, just hanging out together and spending time in the water. That was all we needed. So we really enjoyed that. It was obviously really hot. In Celsius, it was like 38, 39. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. It was hot. But I guess it doesn't matter when you're at the ocean. you can deal with hot, right? It's not like when you're in the city, like here now, it's also really hot. Not quite as much, but it's like 32, 33. But here there's no escape in the city. Yeah, and of course there was a lot of good food, and we went out at night to, you know, where the cafes are and the shops are and things like that. So that was really lovely to spend that time together. So let's see if we can make some of these look like a nest. I should have added fish here, but I didn't have any fish. I did not take any fish with me. The Red Sea, if you've ever had a chance to be there, is absolutely amazing. The water is so clear, and when you're in the sea and you're able to snorkel or dive, wow, it is really, I think I've mentioned that in another video last year when I was in Hurghada in Egypt. You feel like you're in an aquarium, and that is not exaggerating at all. It's absolutely stunning. There's thousands of different fish in all kinds of colors, and you are in the middle of it, like you're swimming right next to them. They're not shy or anything. It's just unbelievable. Something like this, maybe scattered a bit more, maybe one big one that he can grab onto to make it look a little more realistic. I think I need more of these. I want it to look more like a nest. Something like that. And then maybe we could add some thread. Something like this, like maybe the black would stand out just a little bit. And I will just roll that around 4 fingers. I also have some tiny feather bits, which I can add to the nest. And then I also found this in my stash. This is from the Tim Holtz Ideology Wallflower paper stash. And I'm going to cut out these eggs here. So one thing that we did that I really wanted to do is every time I'm in Sharm el-Sheikh, I like to also visit Dahab, which is about 1.5 hours by car away from Sharm el-Sheikh. It's this really laid back sea town, and you can do really great diving and snorkeling from there. And they also have a beautiful promenade with restaurants that are, of course, all right by the sea. And I love that promenade and the restaurants. And driving there is such an adventure, because driving there, you're also driving in the direction of Israel. And you have quite a few massive security checks along the way. So at multiple points of your trip, you have to drive through a scanner. You know, you might know these from the airports, like a full body scan, but there is like a full car scan. You stay in your car and the scan scans everything. It scans the car and everything in it, which is really kind of scary. So of course, if you're pregnant or anything, or there's any reason why you also wouldn't be able to have an x-ray, you cannot go through these, of course, with the car. So then you have to go around it. And then they always check your cars for bombs or anything. And you see all these military people at the side of the road. And of course, especially at these checkpoints with machine guns, and it's all quite intimidating. Okay, we have the 3 eggs. I feel I need to get rid of the white edge, so I need to distress those. So especially if you're from a country like Europe, a country like Austria, or probably most European countries, you're not used to this military presence that you see in Egypt generally. And it can really be quite scary sometimes, because there's so many of them and they are ready for business. You know, they don't mess around, obviously, because they've had their fair share of terror attacks as well. Okay, let's see if we want to use all 3. Maybe like that. I know they don't really stand out because they're a similar color. I've decided I'm going to emboss these to make them stand out more, and I have this beautiful black sparkly embossing powder. It's from Hero Arts. It's called Black Sparkle. Very fitting name. And I also have this distress embossing pen from Ranger, which I've actually never used. Of course, you could also just rub these eggs onto your embossing pad. But since I have the pen, I'm eager to try that out. Yep, it seems to work. So this is what they look like once they've melted. Super sparkly. Okay, let's add them to the nest and see if they are more visible. Maybe not through the camera because you probably can't see the sparkle. Yep, that is probably more hard for you not to see. But in real, I can see it quite well now because of how they catch the light. You see that? I know I said I didn't want to experiment for this page, but now I'm wondering, since I have my embossing pen, why not take advantage of that and use that on the eggs to add maybe some white embossing powder in some areas, kind of like speckles, to see if we could see them more. So I'm going to take my pen and just kind of add it to some areas. I'm very curious. Oh, that looks funny. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so let's add these again. I think this time they should be more visible. Yes, definitely. How fun. Ha! That is so cute. I wish I had a magic wand now where I could just swipe it over this collage and everything would be glued down, but that's not gonna happen. So I'm going to glue this on off camera because that looks like it's going to be fairly tedious. So I've glued all of these pieces down, each one individually. That was fun. And I didn't glue this bird down yet because I'm thinking I want to add some more stamping in the background. I'm going to use this stamp by Crafty Individuals, and it's the stamp CI 214, which has this beautiful script. I will link their website below for you. As always, I want to mention that they come without the gray foam, so you would have to buy that separately and mount these yourself. And since I have my embossing pen out, I want to try to do some embossing with this scripty stamp. So I'm just going to go over some parts here in the middle and stamp my page. I'm wondering if this is a good idea because I'm afraid that the embossing powder is probably also going to stick to these bits. I'm again going to take my sparkly black and I will try to do that in a way that I'm just going to go over the parts where I put the embossing pin. Now the challenging part is to get the rest off. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Now everything is here and there's still so much glue there that it's going to stick. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, we're going to have a very sparkly nest. I guess there are worse things in life than having a sparkly nest. So here's what that looks like. I quite like it actually. The sparkling nest actually looks pretty cool. Happy accident, I would say. So now I can adhere this bird. So on one of the days we went snorkeling to a different beach where there's more fish to see in the sea. Wow, this is way too much glue. So we went snorkeling there and it was beautiful and we saw so many fish and it was so lovely. And then in the evening, my hubby was like, yeah, it's good that you didn't understand the Arabic because the people there that, you know, like the lifeguard and the people that work there, they were talking about that they had seen a shark there in the morning. So yeah, I'm very happy. I did not know that because there's no way I would have gone into the water knowing that just a few hours earlier there was a shark. I mean, apparently they're harmless, but I don't need that experience. Thank you very much. That's a bit too much for me. I panic thinking about sharks, to be honest. Wow, if I would ever meet one in the water, oh my goodness. Maybe he and I would both get a heart attack. I don't know. More likely I would. Then I'm going to add a sentiment. I have these word stickers from 7 Dot Studio. This is the collection Lost and Found. And I want to add the one that says Memories Preserved, because I have the receipts and I have this seagrass, and I'm preserving these obviously in this way. And I'm going to add some cheesecloth underneath because that kind of fits with the fluffiness of the feathers and the nest. Cheesecloth basically almost always fits in my eyes. And then I'm also going to add some writing here to document where these things are from. So I added seagrass and receipts from a wonderful vacation in Sharm el Sheikh, June 2022. Lots of relaxing, good food and beautiful fish. But most precious of all, spending quality time with hubby. So if you're going through a bad time, maybe it would also help you to just take out a journal and create something that you feel comfortable with and that will make you happy in the end. Playing in this journal on this page definitely was food for my soul, and it makes me really happy to look at this and to think of my vacation and my hobby. So hopefully your page will do the same for you. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!